Oh, yeah. Let's see what this looks like on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. It works. Heck yeah. So we are officially live right now. Cool.
I like it.
I wonder if I can set up like a background or something. I don't know how that would work.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Got fit to scale, invert. That's cool. Add interval. I don't know what that does or how it works.
Oh,
Grid.
all right. Well, we are here.
Oh, dude. The plucky thing, dude.
The plucky thing.
Then they got this transform thing. So I press the hot swap, right? No, it's reset. Okay. Wow. It just does it. Distance. That's definitely not what that's supposed to do, but that's okay. I don't care that much. Wow. Dude, this would come in handy so much.
We'll look at it in a second because I don't want to spoil it too much for myself before we actually look
I know.
at it.
I'm just like playing around with it so I can get an idea of like what I'm looking at whenever we get into it, you know?
No, for sure.
There's definitely a lot to dig into. I've watched tons and tons of videos. So I think I can get around it pretty good. I don't know what the hotkeys are for some of this stuff though. Like, do they even have them? So the mixer view, there's no hotkey for it.
Cool.
Oh, you can. Oh, how cool. How cool. That's impact. Whoa, that's so nice, dude. Have you always been able to show performance impact on tracks in Ableton?
I don't even know what that means. Not even 100% sure what that means.
Well, then there's like this crossfader thing, which I'm assuming is like for like DJ controllers or something.
Yeah, that's always been there. I think it's a show hide situation.
Return tracks. I want to see that. Actually, I do. I want to see return tracks in only the mixer. But wait, option shift. Can I hide them here? Copy max for live path. This is exciting, dude. I'm a happy boy. I'm a real happy boy right now, dude.
Did?
I'm
sending you the link.
So happy. For my what?
I'm just shooting you the link so you can check it. Make sure it sounds good to you.
Oh, yeah. I also told Maddie I might have her check it out, pull it up on her laptop so she can check. Copy. I'm going to send this to you, babe, in case if you're curious.
It actually looks and sounds pretty good, at least from my phone. So.
You don't have to go in the other room. She goes, mm-hmm.
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 All right.
I know where I'm not.
You are very welcome. Don't forget your latte.
Let's hit this thing, Josh.
All right.
Rude.
I'm sorry. I love you, baby.
Mm-hmm.
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 Mom, we're gonna gossip about you.
Okay, do it. All right.
Where'd you go? You left me. Oh no. There he is.
Okay, now I'm ready. I just wanted to get my drum pad to prop up my laptop because it makes a really good laptop stand.
It makes a really good laptop.
It does. It's one of those super thick reflex pads.
Oh,
and like, look, whenever we pod.
Oh, yeah, it's a little more centered. You're right.
Yeah.
That does look really good.
Okay.
That's awesome. So yeah, we'll do intro still and all normal stuff. And then we'll just get to talking. Try to keep it around the hour.
Yeah, that works.
Cool. And welcome back to another episode of the Home Studio Hangout podcast. I am your host, Drew, here with my co-host, Josh. Josh,
Hi.
how are we doing today?
Dude, I'm great. I'm having a really good day. It's a beautiful day in Georgia, and I just got approved for the ABLETON 12 beta.
Let's go. We're going to talk about that later. I'm very
Yes, sir.
excited to look through it. I'm very excited to, after we kind of get through some conversation stuff, I just want you to show me around. So we're going to do that. If you're a podcast listener, the first 2/3 of this show will definitely be for you, but the last third, we are going to do a lot more visual seeing stuff. So make sure to go check it out on YouTube, or if you watch it on Spotify, that will also work. But yeah, today there's some big stuff happening in the music industry right now, Josh, and it's making waves. And literally, I went through this morning, and every other video I watched about this was on TikTok this morning. Like literally every video for like 5 videos in a row.
Yeah, dude, it's everywhere.
UMG has decided that they are parting ways with their contract on TikTok.
Yeah, thank
and
God.
I think it seems like the contract is up.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't read too deep into it. I just know that 2 large companies are battling.
Yeah, and that's always fun.
And
well,
I love it.
Yay, normally, and we'll get to this in a second, but normally that means good things for the smaller people for the most part.
Hopefully.
So just a general overview for those that don't know or haven't seen it anywhere on TikTok. UMG, Universal Music Group, is a major label. It's one of the big 3 major music labels. And they previously, along with all of the other labels, have had a contract with TikTok allowing their music to be used on the platform. And they pay like a contractual fee for it to be used on the platform. Now that contract is up. It seems like the other labels that are involved in this negotiation have already re-signed. They're already good. But UMG was like, hey, you're not giving us enough money. And they decided to negotiate. And TikTok was like, nah, that's fine. We don't need you. And UMG called their bluff and was like, all right, bet. And they pulled out and they didn't re-sign. So now you'll notice if you follow a lot of people who lip sync or people who dance or artists promoting their songs on that were under a subsidiary of UMG, and this is the tricky part. All of their stuff is muted. Like all of their stuff is muted. It was February 1. I was like, oh, this will trickle out over the next couple of days. Bro, it was literally the morning of February 1.
It absolutely has to be immediate because if not, then all of a sudden there's a bunch of money that UMG would be owed.
Owed. Yeah. So it was literally February 1, the day the contract was supposed to re-up. Just nothing. So, and for those, UMG is like a lot of the major artists. Like just proper UMG proper is Taylor Swift, Justin Bieber, SZA, Ariana Grande, like Drake, some of the biggest names in the music game. But then you also, it trickles down to
Bad Bunny. Think about how many TikToks are made with only Taylor Swift, Drake, or Bad Bunny.
Yeah, exactly. And Ariana Grande.
It's like the entire Americas.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like every other video doesn't have a sound.
America.
Yeah.
So So there no longer can be used, and it was retroactive. That was the other crazy part. It was retroactive. So literally any song that had been used ever on TikTok got pulled. The one that I didn't think about, dude, was Baby No Money. All of his stuff got pulled.
I don't even know who that is.
You don't know who Baby No Money is?
No.
Avocado. You would. I feel like if you heard it, you would know. It's one of those like super viral TikTok songs. But yeah, like Baby No Money, and then you have even down to people like. So I saw this. There's a producer. That
hang on one second. I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm catching up on the Pitchfork article about this because now they're owned by GQ, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
So regarding AI, UMG asserts that despite its attempt to protect the earnings of songwriters, TikTok is allowing the platform to be flooded with AI-generated recordings, as well as developing tools to enable, promote, and encourage AI music creation to the platform itself, and then demanding a contractual right which would allow this content to massively dilute the royalty pool for human artists, in a move that is nothing short of sponsoring artist replacement by AI.
Which is...
Dude, so UMG turned around and was like, no, like you're trying to literally like just screw over songwriters by getting people to use AI generated music.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. I never thought that I would be on UMG's side. But
I know that. Well, that's a crazy take. That's a crazy take from their end. To be fair, though,
this is like if Jeff Bezos decided to fight God. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I mean it's not far off. The crazy part is that it's not only the sheer like scale of it all, and like I can see both parts, right? I think that's the problem, is I can see both parts.
Well, also there's also the whole thing where like UMG can easily, like, this is easy, right? If you're UMG, this is so easy because it's like, oh, we're losing money because of them. So how are we going to get all of the Americas and Europe on board with this? We take away their favorite music and say it's because it's hurting their favorite artists, which it is. It's absolutely true.
It's a little untrue.
But also, it kind of makes you wonder.
It's a little untrue. That's a little untrue.
How much are artists actually losing from TikTok?
Yeah. That's a little. I'm skeptical on that. So it's interesting you brought that up. So who I feel the worst for in this situation are the people that have signed with UMG in the last 2 years. Think about like your new artist that is like, I could do independent, but I'm really tired of doing independent. I want to build a team. UMG promises I'm going to build a team, but their entire career has been built off of TikTok. And now,
you know what though?
None of their music can be there.
That's either going to get two ways. That either means that UMG artists are now not going to be told, well, maybe you could release it if you get 1 million views on TikTok.
Yeah.
Or they're just getting shelved.
They're getting shelved. No, I think they're getting shelved. So this literally happened, okay? As of January, I want to say it was halfway through January. Cody Fry, the artist Cody Fry?
No.
He's kind of a newer UMG signee. I found out about this because I found him on TikTok. I'll send you the video. But he signed to UMG like within the last couple years or so like that. But he started promoting a song, and it's released, and it's doing really well in China. So in China, it's freaking blowing up, right? People are, it's becoming a #1 viral sound in that area of the world, right? Which is crazy. And that started halfway through January. And so you know how this works. It takes a couple weeks for it to hit its peak, and all of a sudden it's gone.
Yeah.
So the one thing that he has tried his entire career to like actually build to, UMG just pulled the rug on him.
That's crazy.
So but think about the amount of other artists that are in a similar situation that are just a little less upfront, like in the mainstream about it, right? There's probably a solid amount of artists that are new signees that are getting essentially shelved to mainstream media, which would be TikTok, because of this deal not happening. So that's where I'm like, I'm sure you're protecting your artists. You're protecting your A-listers. You don't give a crap about your new artists. You're not protecting anybody.
But yeah, because the new artists aren't making them back all the money they dumped.
Yes, but they're
You know what I mean?
also not giving them the chance to grow into being an artist that can make their money.
Well, no, that's exactly what I mean. Like they're just kind of
cutting it off.
They don't care, dude. What,
No,
these labels are signing what, like 300 artists a year or whatever?
Yeah, dude.
You never hear about them.
I know, it's crazy. Like, I know about Cody Fry because I saw him. He had a song before he was signed do really, really well, and that was part of the reason he got his deal, right? So I knew about him before. And then another instance that I thought was really interesting, that I think you'll find really interesting. So there's a producer named Eldre. I don't know if you know Eldre. He's a lo-fi hip-hop producer.
Okay.
He's really cool. He does a lot of YouTube content. He does a lot of like collab work with a bunch of different artists and stuff. And I think there's a label. Hold on. Let me get the right exact label. Okay, so it's a UMG subsidiary. Okay, it's called Deutsche Grammophon. It's a big like classical music label. Yeah, like big
dude.
What?
I'm sorry. I'm just like looking up like smaller labels that,
that are
I
under
like.
UMG. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. So let me get there. So Eldre did a collaborative record with Deutsche Grammophon where they gave him the licensability to work alongside their orchestras, and then he take them back, sample it, and then make classical sounding lo-fi, right? He just made that record, I think, in the last year or so. And that record, nothing. And most of those kinds of songs are used for like background music in TikTok for people talking, or, you know, people like doing like caption based things, or, you know, swipe posts. Are you looking up all of the subsidiary labels?
I'm just trying to think of like.
There's a lot, dude. There's a lot.
Oh my god! All right, so Island, Polydor, and Interscope are all UMG. I mean, I'm sure I could just go to like UMG owned labels.
Go to subsidiary labels.
Or labels and brands.
So yeah, it extends across. It extends outside of just the majors that they have. It is literally anybody that is owned by UMG.
Yeah, it's anybody that's owned by them. So they own Abbey Road Studios, Bravade. I never heard of that. Capital Music Group, Decca, Def Jam. So what's this say? Deutsche Grammophon. You just said that.
Yeah, Deutsche Grammophon is like the classical one.
This is nuts. So I didn't know that Republic was.
Yeah, Republic's a subsidiary. Capital does a lot with the Christian industry because they have a Capital Christian industry. So like all of most major CCM labels are under Capital.
Yeah, this is quite a lot.
So my shout out to my boy Marty. My boy Marty is in a rap group called Social Club Misfits, and they were on Capital, and they which was it's a subsidiary, and they just left. They just finished out their contract and left within the last like year or so, and they just started like putting out their own stuff. And he's like, bro, all of my heavy hitter songs that I could promote are gone. So he can only promote his independent releases.
Well, Mercury, Motown.
Yeah, dude.
Dreamville.
Yep.
This is nuts,
Dreamville
dude.
is huge, bro. That's like the other half of TikTok.
Well, I just found out about the Motown Dreamville connection last night. Because of JID. I want to say, is it Earth Gang?
Yeah.
But Earth Gang, are they on
Earth Gang's-
Motown?
They're both Dreamville.
Is there somebody on Motown that I was just listening to last night? And I was like, man, that's kind of crazy.
I know they
no, it's
sampled-
Smino. Smino's on
Mino's
Motown.
Motown. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, it's so cool seeing that like there's still a thing. And they're still signing like unique artists. You know, like
are.
I don't know. It's super sick.
Smino makes
but-
sense though for that.
Yeah, this whole thing is crazy. I mean,
Dude.
obviously we're all rooting for UMG, but also at the same time, it just feels weird.
But
I
don't
better
know,
not.
man.
I better not hear a single thing from.
I'm very much in the middle on this because I think I understand UMG's like we want to get paid more and we want to like they're a business, they want to get paid more and they want to protect their artists. That's their prerogative and I totally get it.
Yeah.
To be fair, if they want to pay their artists more, give your artists better deals.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I mean,
if you want to play that, we can play ball with that.
Well, no, because
But-
it's not just that; it's also royalty rates, right?
Yeah.
So that whole thing is just screwed up. But
Yeah.
it's screwed up because of the major labels that screwed it up. Like 20
it's
years
their
ago.
own fault.
So like,
That's what I'm saying. They made their own bed in this situation.
I don't know. The whole thing is just really
Also,
silly.
they're expecting Spotify payout rates from TikTok, which is like not the same.
Yeah. Yeah, YouTube pays nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
As we're streaming
That's
on
the other
YouTube.
thing. So
We're never getting
YouTube-
monetized now.
but YouTube is also got a deal with UMG, and this is the tricky part. So TikTok is bringing on all this like AI stuff to like start making content creation easier. So is YouTube Shorts. Like that's a thing that YouTube has already announced. Like that's a thing that's happening. And UMG didn't have a problem with it whenever they were signing on with YouTube not too long ago. It's the same thing. I don't know why they decided that it's a problem now.
No, I don't think it's the same thing. What they're talking about, what I read there. Okay.
Okay. So explain to me your purview of that.
I think that UMG is furious that TikTok made a better Drake release than any Drake release in the past 5 years. That's what I got out of that. As soon as I read that whole snippet
you're right, bro.
About how they're empowering users and like
the AI Drake song.
Yeah, it's the AI Drake song.
Yeah, dude, you're not wrong. They pissed off somebody.
They looked at that and they were like, "Man, we haven't had a hotline bling in a long time." That's what it is.
That's straight up what it is. You're right. That's
what it
so
is.
funny.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I mean, there's also some other stuff in this, dude.
I mean,
like,
I'm sure
UMG kind of called him out on all fronts, but of course, like if you're a lawyer, bro, like you're going to, because like
you should.
They were talking about, supposed to be. Oh, I don't know where it's at.
Okay.
But they even commented about like user safety and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which I mean, yeah, sure. Any sort of social media platform. Oh yeah, here we go. UMG alleges that TikTok proposed paying its artists a fraction of the rate that similarly situated major social platforms pay, and that the service has offered no meaningful solutions to content issues like bullying, bigotry, and harassment, including pornographic deepfakes of artists. So, I don't know. It seems like they're just kind of like, hey, man, like stop harassing Taylor and stop giving us better Drake releases than what Drake gives us.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man.
But also, it's like the biggest social media platform in the world. Like,
well, it breaks.
I think
it breaks
that
artists, man.
Yeah, and
just is a very direct correlation to.
And honestly, like TikTok is
up, something
like,
it blows up on other stuff.
What I just read though kind of just feels like they're just kind of throwing the whole book at them. You know what I mean? Because like I don't know, TikTok does pretty good about like content moderation and stuff like that. Like it really. You know, like you even have to be careful about like what you say, or else like your video will get suppressed or taken down. Like, I don't know. I think that TikTok is doing much better than, other major platforms on that front. But
100%.
So I don't know. I just think that I don't know what I think. I really don't care.
Yeah, I mean, like, what do you? I mean, obvious. I think the people who are going to win out of this are the independent artists, because an entire industry or an entire section of the industry has just been removed from the conversation on TikTok.
I mean, they might.
I think they have the opportunity to, is more of what I mean.
They might, but it also depends on a lot of things. But I don't know. The only people that are actually winning are the people who make the deal finally happen. You know what I mean?
If the deal happens.
It's going to. There's no way it's not. They're the biggest social media platform in the world. You know what I mean?
This is the other tricky part.
Give it 2 quarters, and investors are going to be pressuring them to make a deal. Like,
oh, you talking about UMG?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and same with TikTok too. They're going to be like, why aren't you guys letting... You started as a music app, so like, what's going on?
Yeah, that's the other thing, though, man. Like, I know it started as a music app, but like, there's so many different facets to TikTok now, right? Like, yeah. I don't watch TikTok for music stuff.
Oh, neither do I. I've been able to keep my algorithm pretty tame. I just get crazy ADHD videos and not so much check out my song. Because if I had to see that all day, I just wouldn't go on it at all. I mean, and I still really don't go on TikTok.
That was all I was seeing, but
yeah. Shout out Swaco, dude. I'm sure he's doing great.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I don't know what's happening with him.
How many people are watching us right now? 2 people are watching us? Is that real?
Yeah.
Is one of them you?
Yes.
We got 3 people watching, dude.
Yeah. No, there's people.
Who's in here?
Popping in and out.
Can I go to like the live chat?
Yeah, if you want to.
I'm scared. I don't want to hear myself. Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm in here. That's crazy. Oh, so yeah, that's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say the thing that I have about it is I think that you're correct. There will be a deal eventually. Whoever makes it, I feel like TikTok is probably going to be the one to stand firm, and UMG is probably going to be the one to fold, mainly because the other labels have already signed on to the current deal. So then if they backtrack and they're like, well, we're going to give a better deal to UMG, then they have to give a better deal to everybody else, right?
They don't, though, because if the deal's signed, you can't just pull out.
I mean, I know, but it's going to change. I'm saying it's going to change the way that it's approached in the future.
Yeah.
Like, it's a give them an inch, they take a mile kind of situation. Like, if they step back from their decision to hold fast on this, I think it could become like a much bigger headache when these contracts roll around every single year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. I don't know.
I mean, I think that, and then on top of that, it's I think in this time frame, like I said, in this time frame, TikTokers are going to TikTok, right? So stuff's not going to stop happening. Like we said, I would argue that the majority of TikTok does need music to function, a lot of it doesn't, and a lot of it uses royalty-free stuff anyway. Think about all of the anime TikTokers, right? They all use royalty-free stuff. Think about all of the book TikTokers, like that's all royalty-free, or like lo-fi chill stuff that they put behind their stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's
people that are just conversational stream posts, people that post
but here there's
clips.
Also a very obvious way around it, right? And that's using TikTok as a way to hype up new releases, and then once they hit distro, they'll get flagged on TikTok.
Yeah,
So it'll be hard to
potentially.
promote songs that are out, but you still could promote songs that are not out yet.
Yeah, but
on TikTok if you're signed to UMG.
But the number one thing that people say to not do on TikTok is promote stuff that isn't out already.
That's very true.
Like that's the number one big no-no with TikTok. Is promoting for pre-saves. Like that's a big old no-no.
I think I don't know. I don't care. I mean, I do a little bit. I think it's cool. I think it's funny.
I care. I think it's hilarious, actually.
It's
I think
weird.
It's super funny.
It's so weird. Okay, it's always great watching massive corporations fight.
Well, and this is the thing.
It just feels kind of good. It's like typically you guys aren't the ones who do this.
Exactly.
I like to see it.
I'm really hoping that this comes out better on the other end for everybody, and or in the time frame while this is happening, while this deal is no longer here, and there's a big, I would argue, like a third of the music industry is just removed from TikTok completely, leaves a giant gap for potentially more independent artists to come in and fill some of that space and maybe grow in their own way.
Yeah,
hopefully. I would hope that is what would actually happen.
Would be
because
very
I am
sick.
seeing a big rise on people. I've already started promoting my artists that I have done work for. More. I've made like 3 in a row today of just pushing different people that I've worked for. Songs I think are cool that would vibe in different genres. You know.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good opportunity if you're an artist or you're a producer artist that's listening to this. Like, I would just take the time, try really hard, do a push while this is here. See if you can get any more see if you can get more traction than you normally would, just because, you know, there's a space now. There's a space now. Why not, right? Like, the worst thing that could happen is you do the same as you did before. Okay, like that's still good. You've done more content, so that can only be good for your career.
That's facts.
But then if you have a higher percentage chance of actually creating a sound that people start doing stuff to, that's even better. So, yeah. So that's like I think the end of my rant on this whole TikTok UMG thing. I think it's kind of stupid. I understand both sides, and I'm hoping that the independent artists will overall win in the conversation.
I hope so too.
So Josh, you had something that you wanted to rant about for a second.
I don't even know how to transition into this.
Well, this is gonna be how it's gonna be, Josh. It's Josh rants time, guys. It's time for Josh.
Welcome back to Hot Takes with Josh. It's been a minute.
It's Hot Takes with Josh. It's been
a real long time.
we haven't had like just a co-host episode where we've just ranted about stuff for a bit.
It's because Cloud called us out, and by that I mean me. They said somebody at Cloud saw the video of me being like, "Yeah, this shit ass," talking about the SM7DB, and now I'm a little bit more cautious about what I say. Just kidding. It hasn't affected me.
It has nothing to do with that.
So,
has nothing to do with that. Shout out Cloud. They were fine, but yeah.
No, they were great.
They were.
Right. They sent us such a nice response.
It was such a nice response to what you said.
I know. I was just dragging them because I thought it was funny. But Cloud microphones can take a joke, and I appreciate that.
Respect for that. You know what I mean?
Big respect, dude.
Yeah.
Big respect.
Big respect.
What a dumb name for a company.
You're such a jerk, dude.
And then you call it the lifter, dude? The Cloud Lifter? Because it raises the signal? How clever, dude. That's great.
You're such a dork.
Oh, man.
Anyway, so, but we haven't had a Hot Takes with Josh time. So, Josh.
I've noticed this reoccurring theme.
Okay.
While conversing with fellow audio professionals.
Okay.
And I don't know if I'm crazy. I don't know if it's like really a pattern I'm seeing or if it's just like confirmation bias, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the people who do the best work rarely say negative things about music. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
Like, if I'm listening to something with Lee, or if I'm showing him something that I like, you could tell he's actively listening for things that he likes. If there's something that's really off, right? Like the mix or like whatever, he'll be like, oh, that's weird. I don't really like that.
Yeah,
you
or
know?
like I wouldn't have made that choice.
Yeah, but for the most part, it's like I could show him something that's way different than what he typically listens to, and he'll be like, that part's really cool. I like that effect. That's really cool. And it's the same thing for like anybody else that I've met who's like really like highly skilled and, you know, successful. And I noticed that a lot of people who are like up and coming, they aren't really like that. It's like one of those things where like if you show somebody something and it doesn't like specifically align with like what their taste is, then they only point out the negative things. And that has been something that it's been like a theme in my life, because I've been like, remember how I was talking about like all I want to do is talk about things that get me excited. Like that's how I am with music. Like I only listen to music that gets me excited. I don't listen to music that doesn't get me excited. If someone shows me a song that I don't really like, it's like, oh, it's not for me. It's not like, oh, this is objectively bad, or like, you know, like I don't know. It's very, very interesting. And I've noticed that so much trying to converse with people, specifically on the internet. And it actually kind of drives me crazy. And I know that this comes off as like really like corny, right? Like, everybody be positive. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I think that there's something to having a optimistic outlook on art and also improving as an artist. And once I started feeding myself more and more art that like I find profound and that I enjoy, that I want to figure out, I feel like I'm getting better so much quicker than whenever I was focusing. Like before I would listen to something that I'm working on, right? And it would be like, what don't I like about it? But now it's like the complete opposite, where it's like, oh, I love this, I should push it farther. Or like, I want to hear this, I want to hear that. Like, it's not so much about like, oh, well, this sucks, you know?
So you're looking at, what do I want to hear out of this song? What do I want to hear out? What do I want to get out of this song? Not what sucks about this that I need to fix.
Yeah, that's something that's always bothered me. Like, I hate whenever I'm trying to work with somebody and they're like giving me reasons why we can't make the song. You know what I mean? It's like, don't tell me why we can't make it. Like, tell me how we can.
What's an example of that?
Oh, dude, I got this note the other day and I read it wrong at first and it like made me really, really mad. But it was basically saying like the chorus vocal repeats too many times. And I was like, it's the chorus. You know what I mean? And then I read and he was talking about the double chorus at the end. And then after I re-listened, I was like, yeah, it's way too much. But I mean, that's a very simple example where like,
that's an example that would make sense though.
Yeah. Where it's like, oh, I don't like this idea, or I don't like that sound. It's like, okay, that's fine. You don't have to like it, but like, give me some context, you know, like there's a reason why we're picking these sounds, and it's because of other reasons, you know. Like I feel like whenever you're producing a song, you know, like you're picking sounds because of, there's a thought process behind everything that you do. If there isn't, then like you're just not a good producer. So like whenever you don't like something, it's typically not because of that specific sound, it's because of the thought process behind it, you know. So it's like, okay, like give me a little bit of context, like what is the actual vibe that you're shooting for that I'm missing, and then like we'll be able to normally, you know what I mean. You could tell whenever things are just shoved into songs, you know.
I understand what you're saying, because like sometimes for me it's like if you listen to a song raw, you kind of just develop like an instant context of what you think the song should do, right? Yeah. Just as a producer, generally speaking, you can listen to, I mean, and you've literally done this, and I've literally done this, where you'll get a demo where it's just an acoustic and a vocal, or a piano and a vocal, or maybe sometimes just a vocal. And just based on what they are singing and the way that they are singing it, you will like contextualize that thing into a production, just kind of in your brain. And maybe like a couple different options of that. You know, I've done that before, where it's like, this could either go folk, or it could go, you know, like chill R&B or something, you know, like it can kind of spread but you put it in context with a production already. And then when something doesn't make sense with that context, that's when I think what you're talking about happens, where it's like, okay, well, like that's weird, but is there a reason for that, or was that just like a choice that you made? And like to me, it doesn't work. But also, like if that's what you made, the choice that you made, and you like it, then go for it.
Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of times people like look at things and just kind of take them for face value. You know, it's like I couldn't imagine like looking at a record like what's a record that sounds objectively bad.
Saint Anger.
Well, that's bad. What about like if you listen to anything off of like I Don't Like Shit, I Don't Go Outside by Earl Sweatshirt, right?
Yeah.
And you listen to it from
if you listen to
from
like
a technical standpoint,
if you listen to it from like I enjoy clean, well produced hip hop,
yes,
you're not gonna like that record,
right? But if you get behind the art,
the vibe, yeah,
then it makes sense.
I would actually say the first couple Childish Gambino albums are that way.
Yes, they are. 100%.
Which is why a lot of people didn't like because the internet when it came out.
Yeah.
But a lot of people like it now because it kind of established like this weird choppy like constant beat switch thing.
Tyler the Creator's like that too.
Tyler
like I've literally heard like, people who are like
all of those people kind of came up at the same time. But yeah,
I've literally heard people that like specifically like the newer Tyler the Creator stuff. Like people will be like, "Oh yeah, like whoever mixes that is like awful," and it's like, what do you mean? It's like perfect. Wolf? It's perfect. It's literally perfect. Like
Wolf and Flower Boy are goated, bro.
Dude, what's that one song that's just nuts with Pharrell on it?
Half of Wolf is just 808, just cranked out the freaking tubas, dude. It is so good. It's like it almost swallows everything, and I love it so much.
And it's just one of those things where it's like you can't.
But to me, that is a context in which I hear one song, I understand why the record is that way.
Oh, dude, like Lumberjack or Juggernaut.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
yeah.
Those are weird songs. Yeah, they're super weird. And like, I don't know. I think that like I read something the other day where somebody said producers are the best mix engineers. And I was like, yeah, they are. It took me a minute to get it, you know? Yeah. But it's like, no, like producers really do make the best mix engineers because they're thinking about why it needs to sound that way.
So yes, I agree with that. So, bro, last week that podcast episode that we dropped last week with Brent, that you could the mixer from Nashville, we had a very similar conversation to this, which is like he came up as a full service production guy, similar to how kind of we all do. You learn. You go in, you try songwriting with the band, you produce a band, you mix a band, you try your hand at mastering, kind of do it all, because that's just kind of part of the gig when you're learning about stuff. And then he was like, because I did production full-time for so long, when I decided to go just into mixing, I mix like a producer, which makes me communicate with the producers that I work with so much better. And it also helps me understand the direction that they're going a lot better.
Yeah. And like, I don't know, Gene Dawson is like that too.
Yeah.
Like there's songs that he has out where like, it just sounds really bad, but everything about it is like perfect at the same time.
Would you put Eric Valentine in that camp?
Yeah.
I think I would put Eric Valentine.
Yeah, he's a weirdo, dude.
But I know, but that's what I mean.
You know what I mean? It's like he processed stuff so heavily on the way in that like you have to be that way in order to get the results that he got with that sort of process.
But like for a good example is a record that he didn't mix, he didn't produce, but he mixed, which was that Story So Far record.
Yeah,
which sounded amazing. But like that's a very unless you were very in tune with the sound at that time, you would not have done what he did to that record. You would have like cleaned it up, you would have brightened it up, you would have made everything a lot less mid-rangey.
That's also a thing though where he has so much experience and he's been doing this for so long that he came up whenever like records didn't sound like how they did right now.
Yeah, they don't sound. They honestly, it was more inversed. Everything was more mid-rangey. The Switchfoot records that he did are like, which are like the big ones, really, like Beautiful Letdown and with Dare You to Move and the freaking banana da-na-na. That's all Eric Valentine. And the record after that,
Is it?
all of those are very mid-rangey records.
Are you messing with me?
No, I'm not messing with you. Matt worked on that record. Matt Rad was there with Eric whenever he worked on that record.
I don't think he mixed it though, did he?
I thought he mixed it.
Hang on, I'm going on Genius.
Or did he just produce it? Because I could be wrong about that.
I don't think that he actually.
I could be wrong about that, but I know he did some Switchfoot.
No, this was all John Fields.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't know who mixed it though. Let me see.
And how in the world did I get that? I know he did some Switchfoot work, but I guess I just assumed it was that one.
Oh gosh, everything's loading so slow. Oh gosh. All right, let's see here. That was mixed by Jack Joseph Puig. I actually don't know how to say his name.
Puig.
Yeah, I've only ever read it.
I think that's how I've heard it pronounced, Puig.
Yeah, that was. Wait, who produced it? Produced by Switchfoot, Charlie Peacock, and John Fields.
Okay, yeah. So he must have done a different record.
Yeah, because that was. I think you're getting your Matts confused. That's Matt Beckley that was there whenever those sessions were done.
That's exactly what it was. Yeah, because it was on a Matt Beckley episode because he was talking about vocal and guitar.
Yeah, but like Eric Valentine did like Taking Back Sunday, and
yes, he did Louder Now.
Oh god, dude, he's so good.
He did Louder Now, which is one of my favorite. He did Hello Hurricane. That's the Switchfoot record that he did, which is also a very great record. Honestly, that was like their poppiest radio record.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that the story so far album sounded very, very cool in the sense that it felt classic but modern. You know what I mean? Which is really just like a combination.
It's hard to do.
Yeah, I think it's mostly just like a combination of like, having someone like Sam Pura engineer it. That's the one that he did, right?
Yeah, he does all of the story records.
Yeah, so I think that's like him doing that whole thing that he's really good at, and he like knows what the sound is, and then Eric being like, "Oh,
but Eric could have very much done it in such a way that it wasn't what you know what I mean. He could have reversed a lot of the work that Sam did in the mix if he wanted to.
Yeah.
But if anything, he leaned into it in the correct way because he could have leaned into it more. And I've heard some of Sam's mixes that he's done of those songs, and I mean, obviously, I like Eric's better because Eric balanced it, whereas Sam leaned into too much of his own sound. Eric took the sound that Sam gave the record and then balanced it between that like sheeny pop, like more modern production and what Sam was going for, which is like super mid-rangey, grungy 90s stuff, and then like balanced it into this new thing, which I think is a perfect where it needed to go.
Mm-hmm.
Which is sad that record didn't do as well as it probably should have. But records are records. It still sounds awesome. I still reference it for drums a lot, to be honest. It's a really great drums record.
Yeah.
But no, I very much, I wasn't sure where you were going to go with this whenever I brought it up. And then when you texted it to me, and I was like, where is he going to go with that? But no, I 100% agree with the whole, like, finding.
I mean, really, what it is
positives in stuff.
Yeah, I kind of think that we need less white guys with microphones talking about what your mindset should be.
Yeah, dude.
You need to have
bro, I never get sick, bro.
Dude, I never actually, what's crazy, dude? I get 2 days out of 1 day.
Yeah, dude. I
from 4 a.m. to 9 a.m. is 1 day for me because I'm on anabolic steroids. All right. And then from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., I get a second day. And you
Doing
know
our
what?
best
I have
Gino
a
the
weekend
Ghost
every
impression.
single night. No, dude, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm tired
Yeah,
of
yeah.
it. It's disgusting.
No, it's
And,
gross. It is gross.
You know, it's like, I'm not going to sit here and talk about like scarcity mindset or like whatever hype words. But I've noticed that that's like a reoccurring theme on the people that are successful is they only really put their time into the things, their time and energy and thoughts into the things that get them excited and the things that they love instead of focusing on things that they don't like, you know, because if you listen to every single record, you know, that you come across and you only focus on the things that you don't like, what do you actually learn from that?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
No, I
mean?
agree.
It's just confirmation bias. And I think that's what it is, right? I think what it is people are at this place where like, oh, I'm really good. So then you listen to something, you're like, oh, I would do it way differently because I know better than the artist, producer, engineer, mixer, and mastering engineer, and everybody
And
else that cleared the song.
Songwriters that were involved.
Yeah. And so, you know, I know better than all these people. So this is what I would have done in that situation instead of being like, okay, what are the cool things in this? You know, like I'm obsessed with that Holly Humberstone record. And
freaking Shane put us onto Holly.
really?
Yeah, he mentioned it in our interview that we did with him.
That's crazy. I wish I would have listened to it back then. But a few people I know are like obsessed with that album because it's produced so well. And and the writing's really good, and the performance is really all of it's really good. But for me, it's like the production is something that blew me away.
Yeah,
and
very different.
Listening to that, you know, I was just completely blown away because I've never heard an album sound like that before.
Yeah,
the closest I think is like the Mike Crossy albums from the 1975.
Okay, yeah.
And there was a conversation where this one dude pointed out where all of the melodic instruments on that album are so wide. They're like ridiculously wide. So I started thinking about that. And in the past 2 songs I've done, I've literally went through and adjusted the width of every single instrument that I have besides bass and drums. And I feel like I just leveled up.
Dude, you know what's crazy about literally that? The same thing happened to me. Except it was country records that made me learn how to do it. Because country records will do this thing that literally no other genre does for the most part. Maybe like a couple do, but like blues records or something. But like they'll have only single tracks of almost everything. And they're like, hey, figure out how to make it sound big and make it make sense in the stereo space. So then you have to put it in specific places in the stereo space. Like barely panning an acoustic guitar like 17 cents to the left.
You know what's crazy?
Is like the move for like country music.
This is like some secret sauce I accidentally discovered on a song I was working on with Lee. All of his center dubs on a vocal, they're always panned like 10 to the left.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, what are you doing? I was like, is this supposed to be like that? And he's like, that's how I do my dubs.
Instead of 100 or 50 or
whatever. No, instead of down the center.
Or down the center, yeah.
Yeah, like if you're stacking 2 center vocals,
I see.
You just put the one behind it, just like
off a little bit.
Yeah,
dude, that
it's actually and it makes a difference. It does make a difference. And I don't know.
Use that.
It's the little things, you know. But the SSL plugins have been great because I love the width knob on them. And
we're gonna have to revise our SSL, putting it in D tier.
Oh, we put them in D tier?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yes, because I used to have the sub and then I was like, I'm really not vibing with it. And then once it became a part of Slate, I've been using SSL plugins more than anything else. I use they just dropped the B channel. I use that constantly. I use all of their Fusion plugins. Their drum strip is unreal.
So it's moving into the AS tier area.
No, actually, I'm not gonna lie to you, dude. SSL is S tier. It's in the name, dude. Oh yeah. Oh,
really?
Yeah. More usable. Yes. I mean, to be fair, I'm still using UAD. I mean, sure. Dude, they just added the massive passive to Spark, and I was running that last night. I learned this thing. This one mastering engineer was talking about how ridiculous just like a 1 dB changes on a master and how it completely changes the feel of an album. And so the idea is if you have an album that's a pop album and it doesn't really feel super poppy, you should set your Q to 1 and then try half a dB to like 1 dB at 10K and it'll instantly feel more pop. So I did that and I was like,
of the circuitry.
No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what EQ you use.
Oh,
I'm talking about just like frequencies associated with
okay.
genres, which is like super fun. And so I tried it and I was like, wow, it does feel more pop. Now the opposite is true too. If you want it to feel less pop, you do a half a dB to a 1 dB cut at 10K. And so I tried that and I was like, that's pretty cool. And then there's also this thing where for indie records, if you want it to be more bright, don't boost 10K, boost 6K, and then boost like 16K. And so I did a 1 dB at 6K and I did a 1 dB at 16K. And I was like, yo, that's crazy. Because I still very much mix like all my vocals, kind of like pop vocals.
Yeah, me too.
Where I love my S sounds to be centered around 10K. And if it's too much, I filter down.
Yeah.
You know, so I typically use like the 2098 on Sheen, which is like a pretty aggressive Q on the high shelf. And then I filter down after it. So it typically centers between like 8 and 12K. And so I always have a lot of 10K. I can never really boost it on the master because then it's like, I feel like I'm boosting S sounds and like cymbals and it's not cool.
Yeah.
And so the 6K and 16K thing rips. And then what I did is I brought back the old Ozone trick. You have on is it called the vintage EQ in Ozone?
Yeah.
You set your Q and like the boost all the way up on the high band. I can't remember. Let me pull it up. I can actually talk about this.
Well, while you're pulling that up, if somebody does want to, this is crazy because if somebody does want to pick up, you're talking about the Ozone Vintage EQ and try what you're about to talk about, you can get the Ozone EQ for free right now from Native Instruments, and you can select the.
Is it the Vintage EQ?
You can select the Vintage option. I think they put it inside, like the individual EQ parameters. You can tell it what you want it to sound like. Each band.
Yeah. Okay. So this is what you do. You set high boost, high Q all the way up, set it on 16K, and it's like the super dramatic shelf. And then you can play around with the high cut and use that to make the band even more aggressive or narrow, which is pretty cool.
So you like using it to control the rest of it, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And so I brought that back and then I did a boost at 6K on the massive passive. And I was like, yo, this rips, dude. It's almost like people who work on much bigger albums than me
know what they're talking about.
Know what they're talking about. So
that's why the podcast is here, man.
Yes, sir. How are we on time right now?
We're doing good. We're closing in on the last little bit, which is
Ableton 12.
Yeah, dude. Show me Ableton 12. I'm very excited to see what this looks like. Josh got accepted into the beta for Ableton 12.
Let me make sure I'm not about to like dox myself. That always paranoids me.
Idea.
Well, yeah. I had like a bunch of like activation codes up on my email whenever we started the podcast. And I was like, I should probably close all this.
Yeah, that's probably not a good idea. But yeah, so Josh got accepted earlier today into the Ableton 12 beta program.
Oh, I could just share Ableton.
Yeah, you can just share Ableton. So it won't do anything wonky.
Can you see it?
I sure can.
Nice. All right. I'll full screen it.
Walk me through and show me the differences.
All right. So it's the exact same thing as Ableton 11. And that's about it. So what I'm fascinated about is they added this up. They added up here.
Hold on.
What up?
It says you need to refresh.
Me?
Your browser's preventing recording.
Browser preventing. That's me.
Yeah, I know. Refresh your
optimize quality under recording settings and start recording again. Hang on. Oh wait, I'm not recording anymore.
Yeah, I know. That's why I stopped you.
Oh, all right. I'm gonna refresh.
Yeah, refresh real quick. There you go. I think you're just making your computer do too much.
Yeah, probably. I'm gonna turn off my camera when I do this,
Okay, that works.
but you can't switch cameras.
You don't
Weird.
have to. You don't have to turn off your camera. Just try.
Well, sometimes it freaks out, so I don't know.
Try
I was
pulling
like,
it
maybe
up.
that would work.
Give it a second to upload and try. There you go.
All right, so here we are. I'm very fascinated by this up here. I keep doing that, where you can now set the key for the entire song.
Okay. Oh yeah. Let me preface this with: if you're listening right now on audio, go watch this on YouTube, or if you're listening on Spotify, switch over to video.
Yeah, and
because
so I
it'll have
literally
visuals.
what you didn't see was me updating my OS for a half hour.
Yeah, that's
whenever
true.
we were supposed to start recording today,
Yeah.
and
But no, so the key thing on the top is the thing that I'm most excited about.
same. But then they also have like this whole thing going on where you have like this stretch feature.
You can chop it, right?
Yes. So if you hold down Option E, then it will make. It's kind of hard to see. Let me zoom in. Let me also make this bigger.
There you go.
There we go. So Option E, and then you click and drag. I was trying to scroll, and it will divide it.
Segments. That's crazy.
Which is super cool. So like if I'm
for
on
hi-hat, for trap hi-hats, that's like everything.
right. So like if I wanted to put a 5-lit in here, which I haven't been able to program since I stopped using Studio One in high school, I can do 5, and it's a 5-lit, which is
dude.
super sick. It'll also come in handy for practicing 5-lits.
Oh yeah, because you can just set it and like print it and be like, all right.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of cool. There's also like a generate function, which I haven't really messed around with. Well, obviously I haven't messed around with any of this.
The pattern generative stuff. This is the stuff that I was talking about that I was excited about. Because you could set stuff to keys and then generate random patterns with certain amount of notes, certain amount of steps, certain amount of density.
Let me just like put something on this. We also got a new instrument, which I'm very excited to play around with. Which one is instruments? Is this it? Yeah. Meld. Here we go.
That's the new one?
Yes, sir.
I definitely can't hear that, but that's okay.
It's just a sine wave. Let me...
Okay. That is pretty cool. So meld is 2 oscillators.
Yeah, and then the idea is that
so it's almost like blending two different oscillators
together.
Yeah,
it has like this crazy like
frequency
wave shaping stuff. Yes, that's exactly it. Why did this just go away?
Instead of just using like blend, it uses frequency engines to blend them.
Yeah, and then there's like a whole thing with this synth specifically that whenever it like the wave shaping happens,
yeah,
you can make sure that all of like the overtones. Oh, yeah. So that's what this is. So if there's like these little like flat sharp things next to it, then it will stay in the key of the song whenever it...
That's so sick. Dude, I wonder if we're going to be able to speed run song making with this.
Or maybe not. That doesn't really...
I wonder if we're going to be able to speed run song making with this. Because like the the MIDI thing just goes crazy, especially for just generating random ideas or random patterns, you know?
Yeah, and then like the idea is that you can map like LFOs or envelopes to these, and then
Yeah.
it does crazy things. But I want to see. All right, so we have all of this stuff here. Generate is on. Pattern, pitch. Can we do like a? Oh, that's rhythm. That's why pitch. Voice is whoa.
That's what I'm saying. But it all stays in the key.
All right, hang on. Let's. Okay, all right. So this is where we're at.
You just wrecked yourself.
Density needs to go down a lot. Okay. Oh man.
Is it making anything usable? Could you randomize melodies with this?
Yes. There's also different settings, right? So
yeah. You could ladder step it.
That was weird.
Can you? Is there a swing? Can you set it to swing? Oh, you can. There's a percentage under the grid, and I'm pretty sure that's a swing percentage up above the generate and the pitch and time section. Is that swing?
That's for pitch and time, so I'm not.
That's what I'm saying. The time would be for swing. Yeah, it is. It is. You can see it moving when you change it around. It nudges it, so it's like 100% on, and then like we'll shift it based on whatever. Bro, EDM guys are gonna go crazy with this.
This gas, dude.
Or like using those random like generative things in high sections and then like smearing it with like spectral time or something like that.
Yeah. What I'm also pumped about is the envelopes are back up here. Isn't that how it used to be in 10? Or maybe they look different over here, but I like that they're right here now. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, it feels better up on top. No, they were on the left, and it was harder to get to because they were always closed, and you had to like scroll.
Yeah, then you had to like open them. Like I appreciate that these are closed because you're not always going to use these over here now.
They put the stuff that you will use up top. Also, the MPE added thing on the MIDI controller.
That's so sick, dude.
Yeah, you have them both open at the same time. Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
You can have all three windows open at the same time. This is the thing that I was most excited about whenever I saw it.
I'm a huge fan of that. I'm gonna have to assign hotkeys to those because I don't think that there are hotkeys available.
No, I don't think they are. No, there are. I think it's like Command I or Shift Command I or something like that. Or
typically it says.
It'd say it if you go up to show hide something.
Oh wait, what is all this? There's now this navigate thing. Did they add more key commands? What's control bar? What is the control bar?
I don't know. I can't see that.
Oh, because it's a menu thing. Okay, so up top where there's like file edit, create, playback, all that. There's now navigate. So they're all based on option 1 through 7. Oh, the mixer is option Shift M. Okay, that's not doing anything.
It added the mixer on the bottom. It did.
Yeah, it doesn't toggle it though.
I think it just added it. It just brought it up.
Okay, so let's see if that works. Option Shift M. Okay, yeah. So then, how do I close it though?
Does it do the same thing? You said it's not a toggle.
It's not a toggle. It just opens it.
Oh.
Wrap keyboard navigation. The tab key will no longer stop at the last control in the focus view and instead will navigate to the first item of that view. Shift plus tab will navigate to the last control. I don't know what that means. Use tab key to move focus. Pressing tab will move focus to the next or previous control instead of switching between session and arrangement. I'm going to try that because I never really go here.
I don't ever go there either.
Yeah, I'm not one of those guys.
No, I normally just use the right side of everything to mix stuff.
Yeah, so session view is now option 1. Option 2 is arrangement. Option 3. Oh, okay. So option 3 is clip view, and then we have like the device view is option 4. I can get behind that.
Yeah.
Option 5, option 6, option 7, crash report. Great, thanks. That's just what it does. Okay, that's
cool.
Helpful. Thank you.
But no, dude, that's really sick. I don't want to spend too much time on it, mainly because my wife is here. It's 4:00 and I gotta head off. But I want to hear a full report.
Yeah, well, I'm going to be playing around with it all night because I have nothing to do.
For sure. I want to hear a full report when we do another podcast where it's just us. Or you should make a YouTube video just going over
They added a metronome toggle, dude.
Where?
It's O.
Oh, freaking finally.
Oh, dude, we're getting basic features, baby.
That may have always been there, but...
It definitely was not.
Okay.
It definitely was not.
Okay. That's still awesome. I normally had to set a hotkey for that.
Play from insert. They added locate options. Play from insert marker. Move insert marker to playhead. This is awesome.
So they did a lot under the hood with like key commands.
Yes. I'm so excited. Hear metronome only while recording, dude.
You should 100% make a YouTube video about your favorite.
Nobody talked about any of this stuff.
I know. That's what I'm saying. You should definitely make a video about this, dude.
This is great. I'm very excited.
I'm very excited to hear about it. I'm very excited because I didn't get the beta, so I'm gonna live vicariously through you.
That's fine. That's fine.
So yeah, we'll do some interesting stuff with that, but I think that's probably where we'll call it. So Josh, thanks so much for coming and hanging out with me today.
Thank you, dude.
Listeners, thanks for listening. Subscribe to me and Josh as well. We have our personal YouTube channels that we do some stuff on as well. Yep. Josh has got some cool production tutorial videos. I have some general business things and some production tutorial stuff and all that kind of crap. So if you enjoy that, go subscribe to us, subscribe here, drop a like, share it with a friend. We will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye.